What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Tonight we are going to be reviewing a song by Morgan Olliges. I really don't know how to pronounce their names. Plus, I'm drinking Jack Daniels tonight, and there's this interesting mix called a fizzy Jack? Applejack Fizz. It's where you take, I'm using Sprite, but you take Sprite and you take some Jack Daniels Apple and you mix them up. It is really good. So, tonight we have this song by Morgan of Paul and Morgan. She is going to be advocating against abortion. Obviously, they are very pro-life, and the song has a lot of pro-life tropes in it. They kind of mix up the fetal development a little bit when they're talking about abortion because they're ignorant of like abortion statistics and everything. I'm going to be giving you a little bit of that tonight along with a critique of the song. So if you're interested in this, then please stay tuned. But you know what we got first? Fuck. Today I learned. Yeah, was it, honey? Yeah, it was beautiful. It's probably a lot. It's a lot worse than Morgan. I have to say. Maybe some of you disagree. We're going to find out about that. But today, first up, we have Today I Learned. And today I learned that the Spanish flu is called Spanish because Europe was at war and no other country publicly reported their own cases. Spain was a neutral country, publicly reported their cases, and took the fame. The real epicenter was a war camp in France. So, yeah. Spanish flu is actually from France.
Is it from France?
Well, yeah, the epicenter was at a war camp in France. So it's actually French. The Spanish flu should actually be the French flu because, I guess, fuck the French or something.
Or we could just name it by its actual designation.
Well, what's its actual designation?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's COVID something. COVID-18. All right, next up, which I don't know if I've covered this one before. I might have, but anyways, it's still interesting. Today I learned in 2006, muggers accosted magician David Copperfield, who promptly turned all of his pockets empty despite carrying his wallet, cell phone, and a passport.
That's because he's David Copperfield.
It is because he's David Copperfield. I mean, I would love to know how to fool muggers like that. Can you teach me your ways, good sir? Huh?
Isn't he dead?
David Copperfield?
Yeah, is he alive still?
I think David Copperfield's alive.
Oh, okay.
And finally on Today I learned that Queen Elizabeth has met 12 U.S. presidents during her reign, which is over a quarter of all presidents since the United States inception. That is pretty awesome. The fact that she's lived that long, she's met that many presidents. I don't think that there's very many people in this world that could even claim that. So, if at all anybody other than her, so that's pretty awesome. So that's it for Today I Learned, and of course, last week I forgot the new kind of section that we were workshopping to see if we could actually work it in before Out of Context Comics, and that's Comment of the Day. And you know, we got a song for that. Comments of the day. Prepare to face bomb yourself in the next week. All about the music tonight. All right, so Sacred Heart of Christ Ministries. Okay. Godless engineer, I recommend that you go get some education. You need to submit to Jesus or burn. You know, it's amazing to me how they think that this is like a legit way to proselytize for their faith. I mean, submit to my God or else burn in hell for eternity. It's like, oh, really? What evidence do you have to suggest I'll burn in hell? Well, my book says. Oh man, gotta love these fundamentalist assholes. Anyways, all right, Sacred Heart of Christ Ministries, go fuck yourself. Oh, honey,
What?
it's your favorite song.
Oh,
You remember which one that is?
yeah.
Which one is it?
I don't know the new one.
It's Out of Context Comics. We're not gonna know what the fuck is going on. Sorry, I popped one of my little things, and anyways, that could be taken out of context later. So this is Batman and Robin. Little Nat Boyd has been crime's general long enough. Time he was demoted. And then Robin's like, yippee, dust off that electric chair. Here we come. Yeah, that's pretty sadistic. And I have to say that the I have no idea what I just did right there. That was a little weird. Reset that shit. Cuz I meant to alt crop it, not zoom in. Because I think Batman's face right here is just like perfect for what Robin said. Like, dust off that electric chair. And Batman's like, God damn, Robin. Slow your roll. We don't kill people in Batman. Oh, man. Anyways. All right. So that's Out of Context Comics. Hope you guys enjoy it. I know I do. But you know what time it is now?
Time to learn shit?
From Brocephus. Shitty ass science. Bring in the answers of science shit really wrong. What's up, assholes? How y'all doing? This is Brocephus here. I'm here to enlighten y'all some bitches on some science and shit. We got a question from the audience tonight, and I have to say, I really do advocate for people asking questions in the comment sections because I definitely read all the comments. They piss me off a lot, but I also read the comments, so definitely ask your questions down there. We have got a super chat from somebody named Sinvia that says, "Hi, Myth. Let's Sin join the Skeptic Mafia." Well, just Sin, to just join the Skeptic Mafia, you just got to pound that join button or go to joinskepticmafia.com. It's actually pretty easy. It's pretty awesome. We got a podcast where we pretty much just talk about Corvid stuff now. Anyways, so SSC Smash says, if apes evolved into evolved into humans, what will humans evolve into? Well, I don't know what evolved is, but I'm going to assume that you're talking about evolved, like you say later on in the sentence, just so that we have something fucking coherent to work with. So, what are we going to turn into next? Assholes. We already turned into those. What's next? Dipshits. Oh, no, wait, what? No, it's not dipshits. Okay, so basically, here's what we're going to do. Because we're all infatuated with like going to the beaches, getting a lot of sun and everything like that, we're going to turn orange. Okay? Going to turn orange, mainly because we eat a lot of oranges and we're out in the sunlight a lot. Okay? Next up, first thing, hands are going to get smaller. Okay? Our intelligence is going to dip very, very low. And we're all just going to be dumb as fuck and children. Okay? The intelligence that you see out of a child now will now be the intelligence of the small-handed orange people of the future. Okay? Oh, another thing, we won't have hair. We will have to fake our hair. We'll have to put on some kind of weird thing in order to make our hair look okay. And you know what? We won't know how fucking umbrellas work either. That's going to be technology of the past. We're just going to walk out in the rain and get all wet and shit, and we're not going to know what it fucking is because we're children. We don't know what the fuck rain is. Oh, what else? What other kind of things? Let's say we got another Not Your Witness super chat saying, "Yo, GE and KC, this is for the other week. Love y'all. I have like 200 letters to use up now, so I am wasting some letters to make it worth my while. Insert shilling here." The orange, small-handed, childlike people of the future want you to join the Skeptic Mafia right now. It's the best investment that you can make. The stock market is looking awesome right now. Just trust me on this, okay? Believe me. That's going to be another big thing, is we're going to repeat superfluous words in the future, okay? Just all the time. It's going to be elegant. It's going to be, well, no, probably not elegant. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be magnificent. Beautiful. Things are going to be beautiful because we are not going to know what the fuck beauty actually is. Okay. Also, we're definitely not going to be using marriage for like love and shit. It's definitely going to be a transaction of some sort. Anyways, let's see. What's the next question? And what would the dinos evolve into if they hadn't been eradicated? Well, luckily, we definitely have an answer for this. It's called the Super Mario Brothers movie. Bet y'all didn't know that one of those existed. Yep. It's got Mario Lopez in it that plays an Italian, and then it's got another guy in it. I can't remember his name right now, but oh, fuck, what is his name? I'm sure somebody's screaming it at me in the comments telling me to go fucking kill yourself because you don't know that actor. I don't know. Anyways, two people that are not Italian play Italians and go to an alternative universe where the dinosaurs evolved into humanoid creatures. That's exactly where the dinosaurs would have ended up. So that's exactly what would have happened. We got Who's Your Buddy here saying those new people sound dumb enough to stare at the sun during an eclipse. That's another thing we'll do. We'll stare directly into the sun. I mean, it's not going to hurt our eyes or anything like that, but we're going to be so interested in the fucking sun that we turn orange and we look directly at it all the fucking time. Also, we're going to think some person on high appointed us specifically to be the apex thing on this planet. That's what we're going to do. Anyways, dinosaurs turned into humanoid creatures that eventually took over and fucked the world up. You know, it kind of sounds like us. Just saying. Anyways, heathens, it's been way too long for me already. GE's gonna kick my ass out of here. I will see y'all later. Don't forget to stand up, go fuck yourself, and everything like that. Bye, heathens. Woo! Where did my fucking hat go? Oh, there it is. So I think basically Brocephus just said the future is Trump, and I really can't argue with him on this because it seems like there's a bunch of dumbasses in charge of this country. They're all sucking his dick every single day. If you guys haven't noticed this, on the podium when he goes up and he gives his daily COVID thing, everybody that speaks for him has to immediately suck his dick when they get up there, and then at periodic points throughout it, just to make sure that he's listening to them, they have to intermittently suck his dick during their little speeches. So just notice that next time. You'll think about it. Anyways, all right, that's enough of that comment. Y'all ready for this response? There we go. So tonight's video is an abortion song, an anti-abortion song. So Morgan starts off this entire thing by saying this song is dedicated to the unborn who have no voice and don't get to have a voice. We stand for you. And it was written and recorded by Morgan Olliges. Olliges? Oligarchies. Maybe. I don't know. So I wanted to start off tonight by kind of giving y'all a little bit of a preface. And that's to say that the only way to reduce the amount of abortions, if that is the end goal that Morgan and her counterpart, whatever the fuck his name is. Oh yeah, Paul. If they really want to reduce the amount of abortions, what they need to do is advocate for wider access to abortions. Stop closing down clinics. Stop trying to prevent people from getting abortions, because that's only going to drive up the abortions that are done unsafely and cause women to put themselves in harm's way. So it's been statistically shown that areas that have higher access of abortion have less abortions. Well, so along with the access to abortions comes access to good sex education. All right. None of this abstinence only shit. not even in the Bible did abstinence fucking work. So I don't want to hear this shit about how it's abstinence only that works for like sex education. That's just bullshit. Okay. So wider access to abortion services comes with better sex education, better access to family planning. Another thing is to start giving a shit about the lower class. Like that could really fucking help people too. So there's a lot of different things that they could advocate for, but I mean, it really starts with wider access to abortion services. Okay. And then also with that comes education and shit. So if that's what they really want to do is reduce the number of abortions, even down to zero, that's unrealistic, but let's say down to zero, you need to advocate for wider access to abortions or abortion services. So, all right, let's see what she's got. Oh, also, sorry, I forgot to mention this. Also, another little tidbit is that statistically, most abortions occur before the 8-week mark. And then the majority of all abortions occur before in the first trimester, or before the 12 weeks. So the later term abortions that do happen are often done because of complications due to a wide range of different things. Okay, so when we're talking about abortions, the majority, I believe it's like 95% occur prior to the 12-week mark. Okay, prior to that mark, most abortions occur. So when she's singing this song, and I've got the lyrics pulled up to it in case you can't really fucking understand her, which I forgot to activate my Bluetooth shit. So I'm gonna do that right now, if it'll turn on. I think maybe it did it. Okay, yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Make sure I get my desktop sound set to the right thing. Wireless. Okay. All right. So we're gonna listen to Morgan being an idiot. We got Dragon Master says, and conservative Christians get the most abortions. I don't know about that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that turned out to be true. Okay, so let's see what she's got.
Your tiny fingertips and your baby lips, your eyes haven't opened, but he's too hoping.
Okay, so in case you guys couldn't understand what the fuck she was saying because she's a horrible fucking singer, she says your tiny fingertips and your baby lips, your eyes haven't opened, but here's to hoping. So Morgan, the reason why their eyes haven't opened is because their eyelids are fucking fused together by the time that most abortions occur. The later term abortions, like I was talking about before, only occur in special situations. There are some elective abortions that have to happen after that point, but if you really want to eliminate those, you need to have wider access to abortion services, because most of the time, or nearly all the time, with later term abortions, they only have to get those because they don't have wide access to abortion services. So if you provide abortion services to where they can access them early enough in the pregnancy, then you don't have to worry about the little embryo or fetus having eyelids because they're fucking fused together. Well, and with abortion services comes sex education, better access to contraception. Sorry, I wasn't very explicit in the entire list of things, but contraception would also help in staving off the need for abortion. So there's multiple avenues that could help it, but wider access to abortion and sex education services, I guess, would be more accurate, right? Family planning services. So also fingertips, they don't have fingertips at this point. When most abortions occur, which is prior to the 8-week mark. In the embryo is 1 1/4 to 1/2 inch long. And this is coming directly from Planned Parenthood, by the way. They have webbed fingers and toes. They don't have like fingertips or anything like that. They're starting to form these things. The arms, they can bend at the elbows. External eyes, ears, eyelids, liver, and upper lip begin to form. So they don't have baby lips. They have fetus texture. What? They don't have buttholes at that point. So the sex organs are all the same at this point. Neither female nor male in all embryos up until the 8th week. And then basically, if a gene triggers the development of testes, the fetus develops into a biological male. If there isn't a trigger, biologically develops into female. So in actuality, we're all by default female unless a certain gene triggers and turns us into a guy. Or a biological guy. So that's at the very beginning. Now, to going on in, of course, the baby continues to develop at the 11 to 12 week mark, which this is the mark where the majority of abortions occur. The fetus has a crown to rump length of 6 to 7.5 centimeters. The fingers and toes are no longer webbed, but they don't have fingernails or anything like that. The bones, they begin to harden. Skin and fingernails begin to grow at this point. So they haven't grown yet. They are just now beginning to grow. So the point in listing all of this out is that most anti-choice or anti-abortion advocates, they paint this picture of like a nearly formed baby in the womb that is getting aborted. And that's the exact picture that Morgan is going to be painting this entire time of what seems to be a nearly formed baby inside of a uterus, right? And she's going to paint this picture and she's going to act like she's standing up for them. But see, the point is that this is really nonsensical considering the fact that most abortions occur way before this point. Any abortions that occur later in the pregnancy are often due to medical reasons or because of restricted access to family planning services, including abortion services, sex education, contraceptives, stuff like that. So, like I said, if you really want to stop the picture that she's painting, you need to have wider access to actual family planning services and shit.
Say that you don't get a choice and you don't have a voice. It's hard to speak when they won't think of what you'd say.
Actually, we don't consider what they would say because one, it wouldn't be coherent. I mean, babies are incoherent even when they're born. Two, they don't have fucking vocal cords, Morgan. So it's not that we say that they don't have a voice. It's that they physically don't have the ability to make noises, right? Also, at this particular point, they wouldn't have complex thoughts. Like at the point at which most abortions occur, what you have is the neurons in the central nervous system. They barely begun to form. Like they haven't even connected the nerves to like the muscles and tissue of this fetus, right? Like at the 12-week mark, the kidneys have just started to make urine. The early sweat glands appear, and the eyes are still, the eyelids are still fused together. Like this, this is some basic shit. But like I said, she's trying to make it out to be like it's a fully formed baby in there that has complex thoughts, feelings, and everything like that. The baby can't feel pain until like the 20th or 20. Was it I think I read that it was the 26th week or something like that they can start to feel pain. But in any case, they can't feel pain at this point. So really, the baby has no opinion on whether or not it should continue to develop.
So I'll stand here now, sing.
So they're weak because they haven't really developed their muscles and stuff. Like it's still just a fetus. Again, she has this presupposition that it's a fully formed baby that they're talking about aborting, and that is so low of a number of abortions that do happen, and the nuances surrounding that it's really pointless to even put in your anti-abortion song. Really, you should be singing about fetuses having webbed fucking feet and no vocal cords and eyelids that are fused together. That's what you should be singing about, not this fantastical picture that you have, painted in your mind of, like, I don't know, a doctor partially birthing a child, out of a woman and then stabbing it in the neck with a knife or something. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what you think goes on in an abortion, but that's not it. Okay. So I also like how one of her lyrics is, "So I'll stand here, but yet she's sitting." I mean, that might be a little nitpicky, but it's a little funny that she's sitting there. She says, "For the ones we have lost." You haven't lost anybody. Okay. Well, I don't know if you've had an abortion. So I mean, I guess I really shouldn't say that, but the fetuses that the majority of abortions that happen, that's not losing a person. That's not losing a family member or anything like that. Now, women that have miscarriages, and that's a horrible thing to have happened. They feel like they have lost a child because they planned on having the baby. They planned on that child being there, and now that child's not a possibility. But for, these elective abortions, that the majority of elective abortions that happen, I mean, it's just not a child at that point, right?
Your very little toes and your baby knows you can't yet talk and you can't yet walk.
So at this particular point, she says your very little toes, they don't exactly have toes yet. Like, I mean, they're webbed feet, and then later on, more at the 12-week mark, they're not webbed, but they're growing into toes. They're starting to form toes, but they're not like toes like we would understand them to be. Baby nose, I think by the 12th week, a nose is kind of starting to form. Let's see. It's definitely not formed at the 8-week mark, which is where a lot of abortions occur, but the majority of abortions occur at the 12-week mark, and it does not really seem like they have a nose. They're the hormones have triggered external sex organs to appear for male or female at this point at the 12-week mark. So it does not say anything about the nose already forming when most happen. Although it does say that 15% of pregnancies end in miscarriage in the first trimester. So at this first point, miscarriage in the first trimester is when most miscarriages happen, but it's also when the majority of abortions occur. So we're just, I mean, I really don't, other than the fact that miscarriages are natural and we are electing to end the pregnancy, ourselves, that really seems to be just the big difference between the two. So I think that women should definitely have a choice in this particular situation. I would hope that, like, the guy's opinion would matter to whoever was pregnant. Like, I would hope that they would come to this decision together, but ultimately it's the woman's decision. We got Who's Your Buddy here, who says, I would suggest to Morgan to either not eat oatmeal while singing, or maybe make 2 tracks, vocals and music, then put them together.
You don't have a voice.
Okay, so at this particular point, when most abortions happen, um, the baby doesn't, or not baby, but the fetus, or embryo, which at whatever point the abortion happens, it can't feel fear, right? It doesn't feel anything. It barely, I mean, it barely has any kind of consciousness at all, if at all. The central nervous system is just now starting to form. Like, I believe at the 8 week mark, there's like a nerve tube that forms that will become the spine, basically. And it's also at this point that the tail starts forming. If you didn't know that, we started growing tails in the womb. But basically, what she's saying right here is like you don't have a voice. You're frightened by one choice, and the fetus just simply can't feel fear. And it's also hard to speak when you don't have fucking vocal cords, Morgan.
So I'll stand here, and I'll sing for you, for the ones we have lost, and the ones who could pull through. I'll stand here, and I'll sing for you, for the ones who cannot speak, for the tiny and the weak. Yeah, I'll.
So, I mean, that's just a repeat of what we've been hearing. It's kind of the chorus, I guess, maybe. But again, if you'll notice, if you'll go back and you'll watch the original video from Paul and Morgan and you'll listen to the lyrics, she's painting this picture of a fully formed baby inside of the womb that's being aborted. I don't know how she thinks abortions happen, but most of the time, the abortions occur before the 12-week mark. And even at that point, they're not like surgical abortions or anything like that. Like a lot of times, you got to take a pill, or there's other various ways in which you can, induce a miscarriage or do this abortion. So, if they're really wanting to reduce the amount of abortions that happen, even if your goal is reducing them to zero, we just don't need the service at all anymore, which I'm sure that most abortion providers would be like ecstatic about not, having a need for that service. But I don't think that'll ever happen. But basically, if they want that to happen, the zero abortions to occur, then they need to advocate for wider access to abortion services, wider access to family planning, wider access to contraception, sex education. You need to be advocating for these things. You guys, Paul and Morgan, you have the ear of this. Oh, fuck. What generation would they be? Whatever. Generation Z, like you have the ear of the Generation Z and onward. You are in a prime position to advocate for this healthy sex education, for contraception use and services. Like you guys are in a perfect position for this, but no, you would rather say that abstinence only is the way to go, but yet even in your fucking book, it doesn't work. Mary was abstinent. And then God was like, you know what? I'm going to hit that. And it's like, yo, God, that's a 14-year-old man. And he's like, you know what? I don't care. I've been around forever. But in any case, I think that Morgan is very, very ignorant, I guess, is the best word, because I really don't think that she's looked into the actual information of it. Or if she has, she's been so indoctrinated into what she believes that the way that she resolves her cognitive dissonance is she rejects all new information and she just goes with confirmation bias, which is what most anti-choice people do. They reject the good medical information. They reject the good statistics, like wider access to family planning services helps reduce the amount of abortions that occur. The fact that the majority of abortions occur before the 12th week, like all of these factors should play into your whole thing here. And the fact that areas that have created wider access to family planning services, including abortion services, have seen a reduction in later term abortions, but also a reduction in abortions in general. These are basic numbers, basic statistics that you can look up for yourself. And I would just advocate everybody to go to Planned Parenthood or any somewhat unbiased source. Oh, everybody's going to be biased in one way or another. But like, don't go to like a Catholic like think tank and get your information on abortion. That's going to be bad information. Try to go to an unaffiliated, like, statistical outlet, and find the raw statistics, find the raw numbers about it, and decide for yourself. That's all that I can really say. Now, this thing still has like 2 minutes left. I don't know if she just goes back through and repeats everything, but she might. Let's see.
Stand here, I'll sing for you, for the ones we have lost, and the ones who could pull through. I'll stand here, I'll sing for you, for the ones who cannot speak, for the tiny and the weak. I will fight for you. I will fight for you. Yeah. I will fight for you. I will fight for you. I will fight for you.
You know, I didn't think about this earlier, but as she's sitting here repeating and singing, I will fight for you, right? She's thinking that she's doing the honorable thing and fighting for somebody that can't stand up for themselves, right? That can be a noble cause, I guess. But what she's really saying here is that I will force women to have babies that they do not want. I will overflow the adoption system with children. Like, I want that to happen. I want to force women to have babies they don't want and cause them to give up the babies, which then inflicts even more emotional damage on those children. Like, I mean, I can't help but whenever I hear her say, I will fight for you, it's like I will force rape victims to have their babies just so that they can resent that child forever, or so that they can give that child up for adoption and emotionally scar that child for life. Like, huh? Well, I mean anyone. I'm just giving specific examples. Forcing anyone to have a baby that they don't want is a horrible thing to do, right? And I just, it really does make me cringe whenever I hear these anti-choice people talk about how they're fighting for these fetuses that aren't babies, but they want to force the mothers to have these babies, and then whatever happens after that point, I guess just happens. Like, they don't care about what happens after that point. They just want the babies to be born. It's just like Republicans. We want to force women to have babies, but then after they're born, you really should have thought these things through. I mean, we're not going to give you shit to help you take care of this kid. You're fucked. You're on your own. Go the fuck away. We don't want you in our statistics.
For the ones who could pull through, I will stand here. I will sing for you, for the ones
And then she has a Bible verse here. Before I knew you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5a. And this is to suggest that, like, even in the womb, God has, created the babies, I guess. Totally ignoring the biological functions that go into, like, copying yourself, basically. So that's it for her video. I don't have it linked down below just yet, but I will definitely have that link soon. So we're about to go into the Skeptic Mafia comments. If you guys want to, you could join the Skeptic Mafia. You get to leave a comment when I post the video to you guys, and that's what we're about to go into. But if you're leaving right now because the video is over, I really appreciate all of you heathens joining us tonight for watching this video, giving it a thumbs up, giving it a like, and I guess we'll see you guys next Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central for a live stream. Of course, we're going to be posting all throughout next week here on Godless Engineers. So we will just see you guys when we see you guys. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice, all that kind of good shit. Bye, heathens.